All right, let's get down to business. I was on Twitter. I've been trying to stay on Twitter for the most part. I've been losing some of my followers because I'm not like on there 24/7 anymore. But I saw on Twitter somebody asked, "Oh, why did some people hate Frozen? I never understood why." And I'm like, I never have seen someone actually discuss Frozen and the reason why it is so bad. Like, the overhype makes it. Like, Frozen is the most overhyped garbage in the history of Disney cinema. This Anglo-Saxon girl, Elsa, barely has any screen time, yet she has sold how many dolls? How many dolls of Elsa have been sold? What on earth? The Frozen story, boring. The songs are decent. Bad protagonist. I don't care about Anna. I don't care about Elsa. I don't care about their parents died at the beginning. I really could care less. Not a bad enough antagonist. Hans makes no sense to be a villain. There's literally no way that we could have figured it out. To have a twist, you must put evidence that that was going to be the twist to begin with. Like in Game of Thrones, the reason they made Arya kill the Night King is because they wanted people to be like, oh, shocked, like, we didn't know, unexpected, what a twist. But in actuality, it was bad. No one liked it. I didn't like it. No feminist liked it. No one liked her killing the Night King. It made no sense. If anybody should have killed the Night King, it should not have been Jon. The twist of it all, it should have been Theon Greyjoy. He could have regained his honor and got killed immediately. Arya should have been killed by him touching her neck. That's just what I'm saying. That's it. Needs to be just left there. But Frozen's character, the villain, Hans, you cannot look inside the story and notice anything that would lead you to believe that he is the villain. Nothing will tell you that. Nothing. Watch it 10 billion times. And I mean, watch it for free, because it's not worth any type of money whatsoever, not even at a bargain bin. Honestly, there's not one piece of evidence that proves that Hans was going to be the villain at the end. Makes no sense. The side characters aren't memorable, unlike backburnered movies that were neglected by Disney World. And I'll get to that later. Let me talk about Elsa. She was queen. Even if her parents forced her to hide, as an adult, she should have just been queen and ruled. Anyone got a problem with it? You Frozen. That's what I thought Frozen was going to be about. I thought it was going to be about a queen who would just freeze. It would make sense. It would be so cool. She could have been the villain. It could have been interesting. She could have just been like, well, I'm a queen, and if you don't like it, you can be Frozen. And it has to be Anna who has to figure out how to, like, get her sister to stop freezing people. And then she frees her, and then she's like, oh, what have I done? Something, realization. I can't make your movies for you, Disney. Disney, you and I have a problem. First one's Kingdom Hearts. I have a problem with Kingdom Hearts. Second, I have a problem with Frozen. Third, I have a problem with Frozen in Kingdom Hearts. You literally just broke my heart when I saw that. Literally, Frozen was barely, when we already knew that 3 was coming out before Frozen it was ever on the table to be anything. And y'all didn't know that it was going to be your cash cow. Honest. But I digress. Like I said, Elsa should have been the villain, yes. She could have arrested or executed those who were against her powers or wanted Anna as queen. Let me talk about Anna. She's too princessy, aka too nice. Her cheeriness is annoying. Her storyline is stupid. It could have been good. She could have been the surprise villain. She could have wanted the crown, because what if while she's hidden and all that, Anna was taught how to be queen? Because the people, the Duke and all that, thought that Elsa wasn't going to be a good queen, so they groomed Anna to do it. What if that was the thing? And then when Elsa finally was like, oh, I'm going to be queen. Oh, wait, you can't be queen. I'm going to be queen. There could have been conflict within. Y'all love to make catty girl drama between two girls when it makes no sense. It would have clearly made complete sense if Elsa and Anna were at odds at all whatsoever. They're barely at odds. The only thing she says is rationally, you cannot get married to someone you just met. Rationally. She could have took parts of Han's storyline. She's to be queen, but she has to get Elsa out of the way. What if she told people of her powers and said she's freezing people, they need to get her, and then she locks her up, and then she's queen, and then she feels bad? Let's talk about Hans. Garbage. I don't even know that other guy's name. I don't even know the lumberjack's name. I could care less. I'm like really done talking about Frozen. Honestly, this is more kind of about what Disney dropped on the ground and left to die because they wanted to promote let it go. Like, really, they just wanted to, do you want to build this snowman? Like, they just want to do that all day, all night. Like, it's not even a Christmas, there's nothing. Even in some stories, like Harry Potter, there's talk about Christmas and stuff. Like, they do something that makes it even, like, worth someone. If you're not there for anything else, you could be there for something. I am there for nothing that Frozen has to offer. And there are countless Disney movies that they could have pushed and got rides for and put merchandise out for and anything that they just didn't. And let's talk about some, shall we? Let's talk about some. So, Princess and the Frog was dropped completely. I don't know. I really cannot decide what's more insulting. The fact that the only black Disney princess has to, A, be the one to struggle to get her crown. She can't just be born a princess. B, she's a frog 90% of the film. Or C, the fact that her prince is the only one that acts like he doesn't care about her at all until, like, the end. Like, really? Really? Y'all really just let Princess and the Frog go to the wayside? Y'all had so much. You could have monopolized on it so much. You could have got more, like, exposure for the black princess. Y'all could have made a restaurant that sold her beignets. Could have, like, I don't understand. Sold frog toys. Y'all had options, but you're gonna have this white-haired Anglo-Saxon girl who's not even barely in her own movie for the majority of the time, sell so many dolls, it's insane, to where you have enough money and then some to go and just erect a ride instantly. The moment the movie comes out, y'all already have a place. But Tiana she just has a gazebo in Disney World. That's all she's got. And she's got more substance. Usually in good movies, there are food things, like things that you could be like, oh, I want that food from that show or movie. Or an item that goes with it that will, like, is most identifiable to that movie or show. For example, the beignets, Tiana, Princess and the Frog. Something that people will remember and recognize. Winnie the Pooh has honey. It's something that people can recognize. You could sell honey wands. Winnie the Pooh honey wands or something. We've got Ratatouille. You can make a restaurant with multiple foods from multiple movies where the waiters have hats that look like the shadows, the rats are on top of them, controlling them. It could be so cool, but y'all don't want to monopolize on anything that's good. And the reason why that y'all didn't really do much with Ratatouille, despite it being one of the best movies y'all made, and it's about rats, it's still, whether it be Anglo-Saxon, it's like the French are on the cusp of not being acceptable just as a regular white person. When you're a foreigner and you're in American soil, it's a problem for Americans and usually Anglo-Saxon. But this one, like the French, they are always tipping whether they care about the French or not. And it tipped, just so happened during Ratatouille, that they weren't enough to even put a restaurant in Epcot or something for Ratatouille. Like, honestly, y'all got France, and y'all don't have a Ratatouille-style restaurant. You don't have Gusteau's. Like, are you serious? Emperor's New Groove, an old gem that y'all let die. Y'all let die. You could have the restaurant with spinach puffs in it. You could have sold Cusco's baby toy llama. There's a lot of merchandise opportunities here, but you didn't do nothing because you don't think that any ethnic group deserves anything. Like, I was told by someone on social media, oh, just be happy with you got one Disney princess. Because I was discussing, okay, why did she have to be a frog for 90% of the movie? And she literally just said what y'all basically said to me. Just be happy that you were a frog person. That's disgusting. Really. In Beauty and the Beast, Belle is from France, and it's not like a big deal that she's in France. Like, she doesn't go into one French word sentences. Like, she doesn't do like what y'all like to do to people who are from a different place. You know what you know what y'all do? Y'all straight up just say, like, if it's someone just like on Futurama, that girl Amy in the beginning before she was stupid and that's how y'all made her. You made her a sort of intelligent, and every other word would be some Chinese word or something. She'd be like, yeah, how are you? Like, she sounds like she's white. She is voiced by someone who's Asian, but she has a vernacular that's not like identified as somebody else. It's just ordinary. It's just an ordinary. It could be black, white, Asian. There's no distinguishable, like, accent. But you make her say, yeah, and you make her do stuff like that, like, honestly. But that's the whole situation. It's not just Futurama. There are other examples of that. Constantly. If you're from a different place, they make you, like, it's insane. But I digress. Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Another gem you let die. A ride should have been made long before any Avatar place was made. You've got Pandora. You erected Pandora, but you don't have anything for Atlantis? Are you dumb? Those crystal mini ships would be so cool as a ride, even if it was just as small as the stupid Dumbo ride that goes in a circle and you can push it up or down. You could the toggle stick thing could be the gem. But you guys have no imagination. You need better people on your team that know what to do. Because whoever's up at the top making all this money, you're making breadcrumbs compared to what you could possibly be doing. Brother Bear, all merchandise crap out the window. You will never get a hype for Brother Bear. People are done with bears after Brave. I actually thought Brave was 10,000 times better than Frozen, which is another gem you kind of just let die. More merchandise for that. Merida has her own nook corner I saw in Disney World, but she doesn't have a ride. She doesn't have anything. It would be cool to have for Merida to have a ride, but of course not. She can't have a castle. She can't have anything. Look, if you guys know history, Scotland has been through a lot. The Scottish have been through a lot, and it just goes on basically, they don't care enough about Scottish people. They'll just be like, okay, let's do this info thing, 2 seconds of Brave, and that's it, and then it's on to the next thing. Moana had the same thing. For that one time, for that one moment, we had just, everyone's talking about Moana, and then it stopped instantly. But people are still talking about Frozen. People are still talking about Frozen, and people are still using her likeness. People are still buying her toys. It's disgusting. She's not even in her own movie. Elsa isn't even in her own movie for as long as the secondary character. Anna's not the main character. It doesn't, and it would make sense for Anna to be the main character and to have an actual good situation, but y'all didn't even try. Lilo and Stitch, another gem you let die. Stitch has like 1,000 cousins. You could have made those little bobblehead things that people like to collect and have each cousin. You know how much money you would have made? I would have bought every last cousin that Stitch had. That was one of my favorite parts of Lilo and Stitch when it was that series. Like, you could make the restaurant that Lilo's sister worked at. But no, y'all don't know what to do. You guys are literally pathetic. It's pathetic. You're gonna push this Anglo-Saxon good-for-nothing girl, Elsa, who does nothing, who is nothing. If she becomes queen, then Anna's the princess. So I don't know why Elsa sold more toys than Anna did. Because Anglo-Saxon. Because white blonde hair. That's why. You literally see the whole situation. It couldn't have been any more clear if Anna had black hair. Literally black and white hair. And they're both white girls. But guess which toy sold the best? Guess. But it's also about marketing. Let It Go is not Anna's song. Let It Go is Elsa's song. They promoted the crap out of that song. Are you serious? You're gonna really do this and you got all these extra things that you could do? Y'all lost the ball. Y'all dropped the ball on Pirates of the Caribbean. You dropped the ball. You just did it. The first one, before you guys started making 10,000 Pirates of the Caribbean, you should have pre-watched all of them so you made sure everything stayed the same and everything was interesting. The only person that I can't even get into Pirates of the Caribbean. All I know is people need to stop saying how good Frozen is. It's not good. It never was good. You fell into the marketing trap. There are 10,000 stories. Fox and the Hound, Lilo and Stitch, Brother Bear, Atlantis, Emperor's New Groove, Princess and the Frog, Brave. Like, literally all these things that they have neglected in Disney World. They're cash cow. They've got one of each place. Like, they've got France. They have no Ratatouille anything, barely. And that's I think it's in Beast's Castle. And I think they got rid of the Ratatouille dish. I never had it. And it didn't even look the same in real life. They didn't even try to make it look the same. When people online make stuff look the same. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're doing the bare minimum and getting all this money. People are on YouTube. Type in Make Ratatouille from Ratatouille, the movie, and it looks just like it. If you go to Disney World, it looks absolutely nothing like that. They told me it was like a salad. When it's actually more akin to a vegetable lasagna. But whatever. I think I'm done talking about Frozen. I just had to talk about it because I'm really sick of seeing people make it seem like that movie had any sort of substance or had any changing, like it shifted the tides of time, like it actually cured anybody's anything, did anything for anybody. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of your money if you bought anything from that franchise. It's quite sad that Brother Bear will never be talked about, that Atlantis will never be talked about, that Emperor's New Groove will never be talked about, and when it will be a live action that they will crap on. Lilo and Stitch barely it was censored so bad. Other than Lilo and Stitch, most of Disney's, like, ethnic characters have to be something else. Emperor's New Groove, he had to be a llama for the majority. He's ethnic. Very, very light ethnic, but ethnic nonetheless is a very different culture. It's like they have to like, I don't know. It's like they have to change the ethnicities. Like they have to change people who are ethnic into animals to like make them seem like animals. It's insane. It's like grotesque. What's that other one? Brother Bear. He's bear the majority of the time. Really? Why? And it's not. And then even Coco, he's like goes. You can't see his face. They do everything it takes to make sure there is no representation physically. You can say this is a black woman, but all I see is her being a frog. You can say this is I don't know what type of ethnicity they are in Brother Bear, but you can say that's them, but all I see is a bear. You can say Emperor's New Groove is from some distant past, but all I see is llama. Like, you could say Coco is Hispanic, but all I see is Day of the Dead mask face. Like, come on. Like, Cinderella gets to be Cinderella the whole movie. Snow White gets to be Snow White. And another thing with Snow White, I don't understand why Frozen was pushed so much. Honestly, Snow White, one of the first Disney princesses, just now, like in the past 10 years, got a ride. It's the Seven Dwarfs ride. But it's like, I don't understand you guys. What on earth are y'all doing? Like, you promoted this crap garbage Frozen. And also, it's been a couple of days since I've recorded this video. Like, since I've recorded the first half of it. I had to sleep on it a few days. Okay, let's talk about Hans's plan. Don't you think Hans would have wanted to get Anna comfortable so that he could marry her? They were not married. They didn't elope. So even if Anna died, let's say, okay, Anna died, and then he intended to have Elsa die despite him saving her from an arrow that a guy was aiming at her. If he wanted them both dead, he would still inherit no kingdom. He was with neither of them. Not by marriage. Nothing. So I'm just kind of confused as to why Hans would even say, if only there were someone who loved you. Because that would have been great to do. Oh, I will kiss you. And it'd be ironic if he did it because he wanted to still have that. But in true love, he didn't love her. It would have just shown. It's like show don't tell. If he kissed her and it didn't work, she'd be like, what's wrong? I love you. And then he's sitting there all confused. He's like, oh, I don't know. You don't love me. Like that's what narcissistic people do. Y'all try to, he's basically bipolar. He made it seem like he was genuine, but it's like, it's not about pretending that you're genuine. It's about you still having the aftermath of someone who is not genuine because it's not real. Eventually you get caught. So it would have been interesting to see that it didn't work because he didn't truly love her, because he was trying to just be there and get the crown. Then Anna would have been like, wow, I learned my lesson from that. Not straight up him spitting in her face and saying, this whole time I was not telling the truth, but technically I was, because I have made my intentions very clear. And just because there was a throwaway line about him being ninth in line, we're supposed to know that he's the villain. And we're supposed to just understand that he's just completely doing a 180 on his character. That's what I have to talk about Hans, because I was just thinking, like, I didn't say much about Hans. And I was thinking about, I'm like, wow, y'all really just ruined that I don't know who in their right mind likes Frozen. And it's not even like a kid's thing, because I was a kid. Everyone was a kid before. And even as a kid, in that mind, I'm thinking I would never be like, oh yeah, like totally Elsa is the coolest. She's not. She's not the coolest. She's not the best princess. She doesn't have the best merchandise. She doesn't have the best movie. She definitely doesn't have the best ride in Disney World. She doesn't deserve her own ride. Anna doesn't deserve her own ride. She's basically the princess, because if Elsa's to be queen, that means Anna is princess. So she's technically the main the main protagonist of the story, despite Elsa being pushed forth like she was. Like, Elsa's not the main character of this story, supposedly. That's why it would have made more sense for Anna to either be protagonist turn antagonist, or protagonist and Elsa be the antagonist. But I can't make your movies for you, Disney. And then another thing, let's talk about what y'all did in Kingdom Hearts 3. Despite Kingdom Hearts 3 already being in the process before Frozen was ever put on the table and we saw it, you put it in that game, that crap, good for nothing, garbage, loser, trash game that y'all are still trying to promote stuff for, like Melody and Memory or whatever crap. I'm never going to pick that up. Never. And I haven't talked about it on my channel because it's like it's useless. It's useless. Until I see something that will make me have diarrhea and vomit, maybe I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll talk about what's going on. But I'm not going to talk about that melody of melodies or whatever it's called with Kyrie, the main character. After 30 years, you're going to make Kyrie her own mini series game. Thank you. Anyway, in Kingdom Hearts 3, y'all have Sora arrive and already seeing Elsa running off. So you basically put him like, it's ridiculous. Some people have mixed opinions about what y'all do and how y'all integrate the stories in Kingdom Hearts. I think the worst place was Agrabah, because Agrabah was very empty. Like, overall, I'm not even considering Kingdom Hearts 3, because every world that you made in Kingdom Hearts 3 was trash. Garbage, sin dipped in misery. There's videos on it. And then I've got a video about what y'all should have did. The movies that you could have put in your games. But nope. Y'all couldn't do that for 1 second. Y'all couldn't have the slightest brain cell in your skull. You couldn't have anything. You couldn't have the smallest inkling to know what people want or who your target audience is. But I digress. So Sora sees her because y'all put Sora in random situations, and I feel like y'all could have did so much better with Frozen, especially since y'all love to talk about it and y'all love to sell merchandise for it and get the money for it. Y'all are going to be fine in COVID because y'all got so much money from Frozen. Use that Frozen money. Use that Frozen money and stop complaining about this, that, and the other. Stop opening your place, because you know idiots will go and throw their money despite them saying they can't afford rent. Okay, I digress. Let's talk about Frozen. Sora sees her running away, and already it's like, okay, where are we at? What's going on? In the movie, it's like, why'd she even run away? She's queen. She could have froze everybody up in there, and then they could have been, the whole premise could have been on, what are we going to do about these people frozen in here? It could have been like that. That could have been a 3 times better movie than what we got. But of course not. Of course not. Like, of course not. So already that's ridiculous. We never see, just like in the movie, we barely see Elsa. We barely see Elsa in Kingdom Hearts 3. Y'all are really ridiculous with this. You just have this idiot loser snowman that people are annoyed. Like, he's on the annoyance level of Minions. And even Minions, I've seen more kids walking around with Minion stuff than with Frozen stuff. But it's kind of close. But you know what? It's real interesting that y'all put Hans even in the running in Kingdom Hearts. And y'all were like, since we did such a poor job of making Hans into a villain, we can literally do nothing else. Even you gave Mother Gothel the dignity of speaking words, despite it being a play-by-play of the movie, which is bad, and I don't support that. Like, Hans has no speaking roles. Hans is just sitting there. We're already at the end of the movie, and we have no idea what his motives are. We have no idea why we should be helping. It's like Sora's very aimless. He just helps people to help people. When the first game and the second game, the first game he was helping people because he was tricked a lot of the time into helping people by thinking, okay, well, I can do this and still find Kairi and still find Riku. In the second one, he was helping people he's already helped, and then he helped some people because they were connected to people who he's gotten help by, i.e. Mulan, who he helped because he knew Mushu. He knew Genie, and that's his connection to Aladdin. He helped Peter Pan because he was trying to find Kairi and thought that she was there. He found Riku and Kairi there. I can give you so many more options. He was tricked into doing stuff in Alice in Wonderland because he thought the person who was locked up was Kairi when it was actually Alice. But no, y'all knew that y'all were trash with Hans, right? So he's just heartless. Even Scar had like 2 voice lines. Y'all gave Scar like 2 lines before he turned into a heartless and was just a damaged sponge. But with Hans, he gets no voice, no nothing. Who is he? Why is Sora trying to defeat him? Despite him being a heartless, like, yeah, he'll throw a Keyblade at anything that looks dark, which is but honestly, it's real interesting. Y'all could have did so much better with Frozen, and it's like, I will refuse to just fall in line and say that this is anything other than garbage cash grab. I have no idea why it cash grabbed. I have no idea, like, other than the fact that y'all marketed it. That's it. I don't know what the deal is, and maybe it's to some gross, pathetic losers guy's fetish since they're sisters or something. I don't know. I don't know why it's sold so much among adults, among children, among teenagers. I don't understand why it did so well. And that song was like catchy for like one Christmas. And y'all didn't even have a Christmas aspect in there, which is something that other movies have, like I said before, to keep people invested, because there's nothing to invest me in this story. Brave had a better story when it came to family. I think maybe Disney was just trying to say, oh, well, we can do it better, Pixar, despite you owning Pixar. You don't have to go against them, but it's just something they love to do. If Pixar does something, then Disney has to do something slightly different. Or they already have something in the process. I don't know who gets it first, but I'm just gonna always say the person who's got the most to lose is the one who probably is going to take the most immoral risks. Not anything that's immediate. Like, if you take it, like if you steal something or whatever, and no one knows who you're more likely to do something that you're more likely to get away with morally. I don't know. It's strange. I just know that Disney's crap. I like Disney World, and that's why I'm like very passionate about this, because it's like, why on earth is Elsa and Anna get their own ride when Tiana has just a little tiny gazebo she sits in, like whether it be hot or cold, and y'all, like, it's terrible. Frozen's terrible. It was overhyped. There's absolutely no reason why anybody should like this movie. There should be no confusion on why this movie's not good. There should be nobody confused Nobody. Like, I could come up with 50,000 other Disney movies that deserve recognition. Atlantis deserves a lot of recognition, especially since they had diversity. They had diversity that wasn't masked over. Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, long and forgotten place, like some place that was untouched by. But then that's interesting because you see these people are money hungry and they just want to take everything so they can get the most amount of money. Honestly, there's a lot that need like recognition, and y'all are just not doing it. And you in turn are doing a disservice to your diverse group of people who are you. If you don't start, people are literally opening their eyes to this. If you don't start acting like things matter and stop masking like different ethnicities other than Anglo-Saxon in masks, paint, animals, hiding them behind animals. You've been doing it for so long, you're very comfortable with it. Even with Moana, it was very island off, very, oh, we live here, this is how we live. It's like, okay, that's interesting, but how come we don't get someone ethnic in a castle? Like, we always have to be from the sands, or we have to be from the dirt, or we have to be from the soil, something. But then Cinderella gets to be from this place that has multiple, like she was in a castle. Like it's really too much for me. But honestly, yeah, look up any Disney movie with a princess, if we're going to just narrow it down to that. Deserves a lot more. Mulan deserves a whole lot more. She's got this thing that's in China. She doesn't have her own place, though. She doesn't have her own place. She doesn't have her own village or anything. She doesn't have anything except that little thing where she walks and then goes back when it's not even her whole thing. There are these Chinese dancers that dance in like the noon. But that's it. I'm kind of done. Hans was the worst surprise villain ever. Anna is the worst princess. Elsa is the worst queen. If y'all wanted to stay on the motif where the queens are evil, you should have made her evil. You should have done that. You should have done it. You had nothing to lose. You made back more money than you could have ever possibly imagined from this movie. You had no excuse, and it's pathetic. I'm done.